In the manifested being, there's a clear idea of conquering space or spaces, as a marvelous human progress. One perceives the ease with which the being, manifested as human, is easily deceived by these aspects of brilliant conquests. There's nothing wrong in this path or in the artifices that support it. Just a reminder of the incredible limitation that these things impose. It's too easy to lend support to the ideas of an apparently real, more humane, and more dignified world. Any analysis, slightly less superficial, demonstrates, with all clarity, the total ignorance of the truths and certainties that support these ideas. Accidents, tragedies, and crimes have no explanation, and they're seen as inhuman, uncontrollable, or at the very least, inexplicable aspects. The book offers support to clarify these things and eliminate their mysteries. Mystery is sold by illusion as one of the most wonderful things in existence. If there are no mysteries, life has no charm. The book clearly states that, in life, the being can only be sovereign if it is sovereign over itself. But it will never be so if it accepts any offer from anyone that subordinates it to any sense or environment. The king loses his kingdom by submitting to offers of subordination. Forces will only rule if the king respects and commands them. The king who does not yield his kingdom is condemned as insensitive by those who covet it. Those who condemn him in the circle will remain, while the king who rules flies. There are dangers in the objectives of most fraternities. Fraternities create and gather beings, creating similarities and strengthening themselves in the propagation of ideas, conceived by misunderstandings, turned into dogmas and landmarks. Even when evidence shows that nothing is equal, the vast majority of fraternities are sustained by the idea of equality. In addition to these ideas, the managers of the ideas are formed, even more dangerous because of their fanaticism, leaving the others subordinate to them. Wisdom becomes a word of support, placed as a pillar to support these ideas that support fraternities. There are all kinds of fraternities, and the very word ends up becoming distorted. It's difficult to find someone who doesn't entrust their salvation to fraternities, to their managers, to their dogmas, and to their idols. Not belonging to or denying established fraternities isolates the being from others. The ideas of strengthening through union propagate and sustain the maintenance of fraternities. It seems that one will not find anyone who can explain the ideas that support any fraternity. They're so intelligently conceived. A simple examination ends any of the existing fraternities. The fragility of the manifestation of the being, with the inappropriate use of the tools given to it, finds comfort in fraternities to justify its indolence. Beings isolated from fraternities move by their own ideas and ideals. The weight of condemnations falls on them. Weaknesses are placed as strengths, and strengths as weaknesses, with values skillfully inverted. Teaching to think for oneself imposes the requirement to do so, as long as it does not contradict the traditions of the fraternity. Those who contradict them are condemned. The mad ignore the condemnations. Not belonging to any of the so-called fraternities becomes rare, because the argument that life happens in fraternities is quite convincing. Leaders form fanatics and impose fraternities on them through cunning and fear. The disputes of fraternities for adherents are full of cunning, violence, and cruelties. The mad manage to pass by. Madness itself protects them. There's an apparent intoxication of senses that brings them individual understanding. Food is available to those who harvest it and, therefore, cannot be offered by anyone, precisely because it's already available. This is the paradox of the hungry, who do not satiate themselves, because they do not see or do not believe in the food in front of them.